evening. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. We would like to call the meeting to order at 6:32 p.m. Ms. Rosnaya, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Egan? Yes, here. Mrs. Hamilton?
Here.
Mrs. Travis? Here. Mrs. Davis?
Here.
Mrs. Crawford?
Here. If you're able and willing, can you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just love when our students they bring me the energy I need to get through the day. All right, we do not have any addendums, right? Okay. So, good evening. Thank you all for joining us tonight. As we move through a busy October, I want to thank all of our families, our staff, and our community members for your continued partnership. Each week, I see firsthand the dedication it takes from the parents volunteering at events to our students giving their best every day in class, and I remain incredibly proud of what you do each and every day. We had a wonderful homecoming weekend this past weekend, from the parade and football game to the dance. It was a true celebration of school spirit and community pride. I want to congratulate our homecoming court as well as our Queen and King, and to all the students who helped make the weekend one to remember. Safety always remains our number one priority, and I want to extend a special thanks to our administrators, our staff, and safety partners who helped ensure that the weekend events were both fun and secure. Through our safety school grant, we invested in metal detectors, which were successfully used at the football game for the first time on Friday. Thank you to everyone who worked hard to make the process as efficient and seamless as possible. We will continue to explore different ways that we can make our school safe with our events as well. So thank you with that. Want to let you know October marks National Bullying Prevention Month, which is a time to stand strong, stay well, and be kind with your mind. So we want to continue encouraging our students and one another to reach out when you see something doesn't feel right. Speak up when you see or hear something unkind. And then fuel confidence by celebrating what makes each person unique. And then show empathy and kindness in words, actions, and in online behavior. Together, we can help foster an environment where every student feels valued, respected, and supported. Also, we have mental health awareness this week. On Friday is Mental Health Awareness Day, which you all have off. The students do, so that's wonderful. Great way to take a break and celebrate that day. So just want to remind us that our words and actions, especially online and social media, matter. As adults, we set the tone on how our students navigate challenges, how they resolve conflicts, and treat one another. So let's continue to model empathy, truth, and compassion, both in person and online. This month we have a lot to celebrate. Last week we had CVCC Day, College Fair Night. I think we had 75 colleges that were presented there that night. Also Kent State University, thank you to them. They were there to present a financial aid presentation. And then today was for our high school students was National Assessment Day. So some students were off, but 10th grade took the pre-ACT, while 11th graders and 9th graders took the PSAT and NMSQT. So they're both important steps towards college readiness and scholarship opportunities. Reminder that Fill the Bus is still going on until October 17th. So we do encourage all our families and students to fill the bus with non-perishable food items and hygiene items to help support your neighbors in need. Students at the high school, they actually can earn community service hours by collecting and turning in 10 items. So if you know any high school students at the high school, let them know that that's a perfect way to give back and earn community service hours. Also for our high school students, we have some great student opportunity leadership opportunities for them. They have the opportunity to join our curriculum committee as well as the Twinsburg Schools Foundation. So the high school just put a notice out there for any high school students who are looking to be representatives for that. Some important dates that are coming up is, again, I mentioned Friday we have off. There's a fall choir concert on the 14th. For the high school, there's parent-teacher conferences. And then the end of the quarter ends on the 17th. And then on the 21st, there's a fall festival orchestra concert if anyone is interested. And then on the 30th is the Tiger Marching Band Showcase. There was a parent square that went out about hearing from your board candidates. So that will be actually tomorrow, hosted at the high school. It is an opportunity to hear from all the 7 candidates that are running. It is in partnership with the Twinsburg Council PTA as well as with League of Women Voters. It's at 7 p.m. in the high school auditorium here. Doors open at 6:15. So if you are able to come, please make sure that you're there to hear everyone's opinions. And then just remember to commit to kindness, connection, and collaboration, whether it's standing against bullying, supporting mental health, or cheering at a Friday night's game. We all share the same goal, which is to make Twinsburg the best place for our students to learn and thrive. So thank you and have a good night. I'll turn it over to Superintendent Supermar.
Thank you, President Crawford. Thank you, board members. Thank you all for coming as well. Welcome to the board meeting, and it's an honor to be able to recognize students, because at the end of the day, that's why we're here, right? So I appreciate you coming, and we're going to start with Ms. Johnson, who is going to recognize our students of the month. And what we'd like you to do is, as she calls your name, come on up, and we're going to have you stand right here. And I'm going to get out of the way. I'm going to stay out of the way.
Would you like to go?
Well, you can, I'll take a picture. Mrs. Davis will help.
Okay, awesome. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you to the Board of Education as well, members, as well as Superintendent Marlowe. It's always nice to be here to recognize our students for doing some outstanding things at the school. And so tonight you're going to hear a little bit about each one of our students of the month. And I tell you, they just stand out in their classrooms. And so at this time, I'm going to ask our teachers if they can join us up front here. And then students, when I call your name, I'm going to read a little bit about you. And then you're going to go all the way down the line and stand by Mrs. Davis, who has her hand raised down there. And you're going to stay up there because we're going to get a nice picture at the end. So I would like to welcome Mrs. Depew. Very great to put that pencil. And Mrs. Bucknell. And Mrs. Watson. So, without further ado, I'm going to start with, and I'm just going to hand it to you. Okay. I'm going to start with Evelyn Adams. Evelyn. Just to tell you a little bit about Evelyn. Evelyn is a great addition to my class, and this is written by Mrs. Brunton. She's a second grader. She's a great addition to my class this year. She comes to school each day with a positive attitude. She is kind and caring to everyone in her classroom. She is an avid reader, and she works hard and does her best work each and every day. Please congratulate Evelyn. Student is Cruz Gonzalez. Please come a little bit about Cruz. Cruz is someone who brings so much joy to our classroom family. He comes into school each day with a smile on his face, and he is always ready to learn. He loves math. Is that right? He loves math, and he enjoys sharing his thinking with the class. He is an amazing risk taker in his reading, and he is working super hard to build up his confidence. Can we congratulate him? If I could say, he is a second grader in Mrs. Bucknell's class. I don't know if I said that. All right, our next student of the month is Sydney Gruce. Sydney is a second grader in Mrs. Bucknell's class as well, and Mrs. Bucknell writes, Sydney is such a sweet girl who loves to help anyone in need. She is a fantastic student and absolutely loves to share her thinking with the class. She is creative, loves math, there's another math lover, and takes great pride in her work. I can always count on her to participate in class. Congratulations. All right, our next student of the month goes out to Sam Meyer. Sam is a second grader in Mrs. Brunton's class in Mrs. Brunton Heights. Sam is a great addition to our class this year. Sam comes to school each day with a positive attitude. He is a hard worker and is kind and caring to everyone in the classroom. He too loves math, but he also loves reading. And he works so hard. He does his very best work each and every day, and he follows directions and sets a great example. Congratulations. All right, we would like to congratulate Ethan Bernard. Third grader in Ms. Belinsky's class, and Ms. Belinsky writes that Ethan shows exemplary behavior each and every day in and out of the classroom. He shows kindness, sensitivity, and compassion to all of his classmates. He also helps everyone who needs it, and he doesn't even have to be asked to do that. He is punctual, organized, and respectful. Can we congratulate Ethan? Our next one is McKenna Gowan.
Yeah.
A third grade student in Mrs. Depew's class, and Mrs. Depew writes, she is a pleasure to have in class. She constantly works towards improving her abilities. She really does try her best each and every day. She is ready to learn at all times. She is sweet, kind, caring, and funny. McKenna is always willing to help her peers, other adults, and teachers in the building, as well as helping myself. She is an overall great kid and every teacher's dream student. That's so awesome. All right, Madeline Junstrom, come on down. Madeline is a third grader from Mrs. Depew's class, and she writes, she's constantly working towards improving her already impressive abilities. She really does always try her best. She is ready to learn at all times. She is sweet, kind, and caring. She's always willing to help her peers, and she is very proud to have her as to be her teacher. So congratulations to Madeline. And welcome Melody Payne. Come on down. Melody is a third grade student in Mrs. Ms. Belinsky's class, I'm sorry. And it says that Melody is student of the month because she shows amazing behavior every single day. She is consistently participating in class and she's always helping others. She's very respectful, she's very impressive, and she's organized each and every day. It says that she continues to strive and strive to excel in her academics, and she says she is extremely proud of Melanie.
Oh, great job.
If you could just stay there so I can get a picture.
So move.
And Karen, if you at this time want to stand and get a picture as well.
Hold on.
I blended. Let's scoot this area. Let's scoot this area. Start with that. Where do I stand?
Just look at the back.
Okay, over here first. Ready? Now we get these guys over here. All right, good. Wait, over here. Everyone over here now. All right. Right here. Right here. Right here. Right here. All right, got it. Okay, I'll send you guys my bill.
Good job, guys. You guys are awesome. Good job. You're very proud.
Great job, students.
Congratulations again, students. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah.
Teachers, thank you very much for your support. It's so often that we continue to see these students over and over again, whether it be on the stage, performing in the orchestra, on the field, whether it's baseball, soccer, softball, what have you. We will see them over and over again as they finish their high school or their careers here in Twinsburg. So they couldn't do it without all of your support. So thank you very much, whether you're a teacher, a family member, or friend. We really do appreciate it. So thank you very much.
You're excused to leave. You don't have to. There's one step going on unless you. Yes, so there's safety things.
Are you cruise? That's not Sydney's not. I hear about cruises all the time. A lot to say with everybody. You guys are all awesome. It was really
Your people call your parents. I'm
Michelle got interviewed. It's got this man and the new principal. Real mom. She thought she was just gonna go in and get like a couple questions. She didn't realize we were going to go steps. And she's like, oh my goodness. Yeah. She's late. She did awesome. All right. See you guys.
Come on.
All right. Let's get ice cream.
Ice cream.
I know, right? Quick,
Thanks again. We had a great night last Friday at Tiger Stadium. As you mentioned, we had homecoming alumni, we had alumni cheerleaders, alumni band members. It was just a great evening. A lot of activities, and unfortunately the game didn't go our way, but it was a great evening. I also thought our safety measures were well received, and hopefully everyone else did as well. I'd like to thank Chief Mason and the Twinsburg Police and Fire for all their work at our games. They really do a great job. I also want to thank our administrative team, Mr. Sedlak, Mr. Strickland, Ms. Farthing, really did a great job of helping assist with our safety measures. So I truly appreciate their efforts. As we walk in here and we see the plow out front, we are approaching winter, and I know it's not something that I look forward to, but we do have to worry about the closing of school and things of that nature, and there'll be information on our website, but the decision is very difficult. We obviously look at a lot of measures, whether it be the amount of snow, the cold, the forecast, the road conditions. So I just encourage our parents to continue to be observant of what we're doing. We'll do parent square notifications. We'll have phone calls in the mornings. We'll try to make the decision as early as possible, but that time is coming. So I want to make sure that people are prepared. So I'll give you more information as we progress, but I just wanted to make sure we're all ready for the winter.
Okay.
I know, we're not looking forward to it. Again, no school on Friday for the students as it's NEOEA Day. Ms. Crawford talked about Fill the Bus campaign that continues through the 17th. As a reminder, we're going to continue to utilize our metal detection equipment at games, and we will continue to expand on that. But I thought it was a great night Friday night. I thought our people did a great job of facilitating that. As she mentioned, tomorrow is our school board candidate forum, and it's hosted by the PTA and the League of Women Voters. It should be a great night. That starts at 7 o'clock. And then we also have tons of activities going on, orchestra concerts, band concerts. It's a great time to be here, and the fall brings a lot of good things out. So I encourage you to look at our website and come and visit. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you support our kids. They put in a lot of hard work, and they do an outstanding job. So please come and attend one of our events. And with that completes my report.
Awesome, thank you. And then I know me and Beth had Business Advisory Committee, and Beth will do the report.
Sure, thank you. So yeah, last week we had our business advisory committee meeting. And so just to go over some of the different highlights that we talked through, for Dodge, the first week of December is going to be their career week. As we move over to RBC, they had a new course this year for the 7th and 8th graders called the Career Exploration. It comes from CVCC, and according to the reps there, we're the only district that's taking advantage of this particular course, and so it's pretty exciting to be a part of that. Their theme this year for RBC is Dream Big. So they have a calendar that's packed full of activities, including a college prep week. They have student panels on career paths. Their Veterans Day panel is on November 13th. They do another live session. I think they did this last year with Cleveland Clinic and the Browns. So they do kind of I think it's a live stream with them to talk through different careers through there. And then they also have their headset careers with their VR goggles that they're able to like go through and see all the different careers that are out there to offer. Over at THS, their October is their Career Readiness Month. In their connections class, so it's real exciting for them this year. They have 81 students in the career connections class, so they had to end up breaking it up into 2 sections, which is awesome. So now they're able to do more activities. They're having a progressive recruiter come in to talk about the IT and networking. And then in January and February, they're having somebody come in to talk about their LinkedIn profiles and talk through that process. They also started at the high school this year was the cybersecurity class, which is kicked off with a huge success. There's lots of students that are learning a lot with the cybersecurity. They also have a new system called PASS, and so this is a new resource for THS. They're providing students to upload their hours of experience. There's libraries of networking. They're learning how to do mock interviews, and it also links in with the Common App, so they're really excited to kick that off this year. This past Monday and Tuesday, they had about 35 students go to the Summit County Expo to learn about different careers. They went there last year and it was a big success, and so they were able to go again this year, and I think that they were able to take a couple of more students. And then they have in January and February their resume clinics that they've currently already been filled, so they're working for that for those juniors and seniors. And then finally, save the date for their e-exploration fair, which will happen on March 18th. So a lot of good things are happening with all of the different schools, and we're excited. So our next meeting will be, I believe, at the end of November. And that's all I have.
Yeah, good job. Any other committee updates? All right.
Would the board like to move the audience so we can actually
Yes, thank you.
We would love to do that. Thank you. I'll probably move on this side here too.
Good evening, Board of Education.
Good evening.
Everyone that's paying attention to us. Thank you for being with us tonight. It's that time of the year again. It is slightly different time of the year though than what we had in the past. The 5-year forecast, which now it has been changed to basically a 4-year forecast, and I will highlight some new legislatures as we go along. And changes. House Bill 96, or our current state budget, change the dates and years of a district requirements for a forecast submission. So now we have, compared to the prior end of November deadline, this year the forecast is due to Department of Education on October 15th for submission. And an update, instead of May, like usually, it will be due in February, end of February. And then next following fiscal year, the dates change again. So this current October 15 date is being moved on to August 31st, and then the update to end of February each year. So that change has been implemented just recently, and it is big. It doesn't give us that much information in the current fiscal year that we just started, but we definitely need to go by and meet our deadlines. So the required funds to be reported have not been changed. They're same as before, and our district has general funds. On the note of the requirement changed from 5 to 4 years, we have talked with the board, and we will continue. It is my suggestion to go on with still a 5-year forecast, because it just gives us a little bit of better perspective down the line of what's basically what we're facing and what's coming our way. So that's what we have. The purpose and objective of the forecast is to for long-range planning for district finances, and the ability to sign the certificate required by ORC code, certificate code 412, which basically is to certify that we do have the fund to cover our expenditures that we engage into our contracts and our expenses, to provide a method for the Ohio Department of Education and Auditor of State to identify school districts with potential financial problems coming up. Financial forecast overview, again, serves as a vital management tool for administration and the Board of Education. It does need to be updated regularly, so that's twice a year. And then each forecast has a number section, and then it has a lot of discussions, so and notes that go into to be read with the numbers, because otherwise the numbers really don't mean much if we don't know what was considered at the time when the forecast is done. I always post the notes with the forecast on our school webpage, and we have numerous years there already from each year. My presentations along with the notes and the numbers are available on the district website. Key line items in a forecast are basically, the forecast has two sections, revenues and expenditures. The revenues are made of two main sources, state funding and local, and then the expenditures are mainly, just as for any other public school district in the state, salaries, and wages, benefits, purchase services, supplies, and materials. Legislative concerns. House Bill 96, the current state budget, provided no increase in the foundation funding, only small amounts outside the formula. Governor vetoed four key provisions of the House Bill 96 that would have heavily impacted right away local school district revenues and cash balances. There are still 14, 9 at the House level and 5 at the Senate level proposed laws to impact local property taxes and or valuations that could reduce local funding for all public schools across Ohio. The governor's tax reform work group currently reviews ways to stop property tax increases, primarily for school districts. Proposals from the work group and our future legislative actions seem imminent that would impact property taxes, which are 65% of our revenue. And then House Bill 96 included a piggyback tax exemption law that allows county commissioners to give a second tax credit for homestead and homeowners, 2.5 credit without reimbursement. This could cost our district close to $1 million if approved by our commissioners. The timeline for fiscal year 26-27 state budget line is basically still ongoing due to the veto overrides. The House vetoed in July to override the governor's veto on levy types, The Senate has not considered this veto yet, and the Senate can act all the way to December 31st, 2026. I would just like to underline, I'm not wrong here, I didn't oversee a date. It is not 25 December, it is 26. In essence, portions of House Bill 96 may not be final until more than a year out from this point in time. The Taxpayers Freedom Trilogy Act was introduced in August by House Bill 420, 421, and 422. These bills, if passed into law, would eliminate continuing levies, potentially set aside inside millage, and create more than 50% year margin for new levy approval. All would be devastating to our local revenues. We count on to educate our students. Any changes which could be significant to state funding and property taxes, we will need to keep our eyes out and evaluate carefully and plan for in our forecast as the time goes on and as we do more updates to the forecast. Our district's financial overview, House Bill 96 continued the phase-in of the Fair School Funding Plan for fiscal year 26-27. Future funding is uncertain still for 28 and after, as the Fair School Funding Plan is not funded beyond 27, and state legislature may change property tax laws. We receive 17.9% of our revenues from the state of Ohio and 82.1% from local sources. I remember when I started 3 years ago, the percentage was just a little bit like over 20% for state, and then over every single year it just decreases just a little bit and we get higher and higher. We have to rely more and more on local revenues opposed to the state helping our district. I don't really want to read everything line by line, but we do definitely need to try and match our expenses to our revenues if we are to sustain our ending cash balance for long term, which we are not at that stage as of this point in time, and I will talk more about that. So basically, it's not too promising or too bright what's being sent the public school district's way, unfortunately. At this point in time, as I just mentioned, 17.9% of our revenues are derived from state foundation, and 82.1% is reliance of our local property taxes. So these are our actual and projected revenues numbers. So the 3 past years, 23, 24, 25, they are the actual numbers from the fiscal year end closings. And 26 and further out, they are our best projections based on the information that we have at this point in time. So you can see our revenues this year are going to be right around $60,200,000 or close to it for general funds. Our challenges to the operating revenue, we cannot talk about our revenues and not mention, and I have mentioned this over and over in my presentations, the district has lost basically over the last 10 or so years about $24 million in total from tangible personal property revenues, and in to be truthful, it's still affecting us. It is a huge loss. Every year we receive less and less. I have some examples of that. Fiscal year 19, we received $3.1 million. And then fiscal year 15, the district had $6.6 million. As time went by, it got cut more and more. And yes, we were told, and yes, we knew about it, but how do you plan for such loss when the needs are increasing for our students? So it's just hard. It's tough. And the Department of Education and Workforce dropped our revenue significantly due to rising property values and income levels, and that was last year. If you remember, we lost about $1.4 million last year in state foundation. House Bill 33, the Fair School Funding Plan, helped us in 24 and 25 a little bit. The foundation program had us on a formula in 24 and 25, and this year our district was changed to guaranteed instead of formula-based funding for the state part of our allocations. What does that mean? It basically, we are guaranteed to receive what we're receiving now, even if our student population decreases. So that's kind of good. We should not be receiving less going forward, unless again something changes. But for the formula by itself, on how they calculate on what the school districts receive is what I'm referring to on that line. And our total revenue is estimated to grow by less than 1% annually over the next 5 years, while our expenses are estimated to grow at least double that. So obviously by that, we know we have a financial problem. On the expenditure side, our wages consist of 57.4%, and our benefits about close to 25%. So the two total about 82% of our budget. But I would like to add to that we also have other payroll, salary expenses under the purchase services, as we have third parties contracted with our district to provide certain services to us, such as the Education Service Center of Northeast Ohio, the City of Twinsburg for security liaisons. Wren Hill is paying our substitutes, so we don't pay them in-house, just some of those examples. So basically what I'm saying is that our wages and benefits are actually higher than 82% of our total cost, but we have them shown in a different object line in purchase services. Fringe benefits follow wages, and they are the second highest cost and the fastest growing category. So these are our actual and projected expenditure numbers for the last 3 years and the upcoming 5. We are projected to spend close to $64 million this year. Our top expenditures, as I was just talking about it, payroll. I have here lined out the increases with our TEA and TSSA agreements. The agreements go out to fiscal year 27, so that's the reason why in fiscal year 28, the current forecast does not show any wage increase percentage because we don't know, we don't have an agreement. So once that happens down the line, then our expenditures would be increased by that number. So actions affecting this forecast positively this fall compared to what we projected in May are some of the steps that the Board of Education and Administration has taken. So we have not replaced 5 teachers, as we know, of those that retired. So that's reduction through attrition. Average teacher salary is about $106,000, so that brought us some savings. And then 14 teachers hired to replace the 14 people who left or retired were hired at step 5 per the board's directions or below that. And that brought us some significant savings as well, which the 2 of them, if we add them together, and then we need to offset the severances paid to our third party for the early retirement incentive, which we have an agreement with them for the upcoming 3 years, and this is the first year, and all of those 3 payments are reflected in the forecast. So basically, higher savings in the salaries as a result of those decisions we'll be seeing 3 years out from now. Okay, but I did want to talk about it because there was a significant consideration that we implemented in order to try to reduce our salaries and benefit expenditures. Okay, our fringe benefits, I have here our premium increases from the Council of the Store County School Council of Governments, which we are affiliated with for our benefits, medical, vision, dental, life insurance. So far, basically, in my time in the district, as we look back on this table, we can see that finally we're back in the green zone, which is under 5% increase on this line, which is affecting the board's and employees' contributions and expenditures. But I am happy to see, because in the prior 3 years, just recently, as you can see, we had around 7 or 8% increases, and this year we had slightly under 5%. So that's a little bit of the thing, even though it's still increasing 5%, but at least it's increasing at a somewhat smaller rate. And we still get premium holiday, which the district takes in December, which means that we don't need to pay a contribution for our insurance benefits to the cost. So neither do employees, we don't deduct from their paycheck in December, and neither does the board need to pay. So that's good. We're still grateful for that. Even though in the past we used to receive 2 or 3 premium holidays some years, but at least we still have one. So we're gonna take it. Oops. So I have here by object line, red is wages, blue is benefits, and then orange is purchase services. We can all see quickly, even here without looking at the numbers, that what is our highest cost and how we're looking. That's just for a visual expenditure. The 2023 levy has helped the district financials, but expenses continue to exceed our revenues, unfortunately, each year. So the main budget concern, basically, we analyze revenues, then I talked about expenses, and the forecast line 601 is the one that deducts the 2 from each other. So we have been basically spending more annually in the last few years, and we are still projected, we're still on that path, which eventually it will deplete our cash reserves in fiscal year 28. And I have a note that regarding that fiscal year 28, the forecast again doesn't include any base salary increases. because we don't know what that is. So once we have such information and we have a new agreement, then that $730,000 negative would be even a higher negative. Okay, revenue versus expenditures. I have a graph here. The red shows our expenditures, the blue shows our revenues, and then the green shows our ending balance. And then our ending cash balance. As we have talked about it before, 30 to 60 day is a responsible and recommended target to have for a district. Basically, that means to function for us to be able to pay our bills for a month or two, basically. So we spend a month about $5.5 million average, let's say between $5.2 to $6 million, depending on what we're paying in certain month. So if we're thinking on those lines, it would be around $11 million. That would be a recommended target for each end of the fiscal year. But as we know, in fiscal year 27, was I just that? In fiscal year 27, even our cash reserves are $7 million, which means basically it would cover us for 30 days, 1 month, and then in 28, we're going negative. So, once this forecast is submitted to Department of Education and Workforce, I will expect a letter of fiscal precaution for our district again, unfortunately. So some action steps for us to think about is to continue reallocating operating expenses wherever possible to permanent improvement money, funds which we have $2.2 million of, and we're trying to stretch those funds basically to help with curriculum, technology costs, different things. So we're not just using them for our buildings, we're trying to use them for any other allowed expenditures in order to save our general funds monies. And then I think we will continue talking about and evaluating strategies to ensure the development of a balanced budget. So thank you for your attention. Any questions? Go ahead, Marie.
For people that are listening, just so they understand the weight of what you're saying, Joya, on your slide where it says ending cash balance, that very last line, can you just explain, obviously we know, but to people that are listening that might not know what this means, when you say we expect the letter of fiscal precaution from ODE and W after submission of this forecast, like what does that letter mean? What does it imply?
So basically that letter, what Department of Education does, they watch every district forecast twice a year after the submission, and if they see a negative cash balance in year 1, 2, or 3, then they will send the district a letter to basically help the board and administration to give a heads up, hey, you have a problem here coming up in a year or 2 or 3. So that's what's gonna happen with it. So because we're showing that negative $730,000 there on line 1001, they will ask us basically, you cannot have zero balance, as I was showing it here, no less than 0 as required by Ohio law. Because if you have zero balance, it means we don't have money to pay payroll and to pay our invoices, basically. So we cannot have a zero balance. So Department of Education and Workforce will send a letter to the board president, superintendent, and myself, bring that $730,000 to our attention and ask us to implement something to not be at that negative. And then we're gonna have a deadline. We went through the same exercise a couple years ago.
And I think it's important to notate
You're
that
welcome.
if the last time we did this forecast, in 2028, it was projecting that it would be negative about around $8 million.
Correct.
And so this is not a surprise to the board that we saw that we were going to be in a deficit come in 2028. It's been showing on our forecast, and that's why the board has taken the steps this year that we needed to start taking these steps to start getting out of this negative. And so, as Julia had showed in one of those this slide that she just no, go back to the teacher one where
That's what I'm looking for.
yes. So that's why we as a board discussed about looking at when we discussed doing the retirement buyout. We knew that we could have a lot of teachers who were looking to retire, and as a board, we thought that could be the best decision for us to be able to save some funds. And so we had conversations with our staff for about a year now. We were having those conversations, seeing who was interested in taking that buyout, and because of that, we were able to when we decided for those teachers to retire, we were able to not hire any new teachers at a step 5 or higher. We went a step 5 or below, and most of those were below step 5, which we appreciate our administration team helping us do that, as well as we decided as a board that it was the best decision. We looked at what made sense for the classrooms, what could we afford to do, and what, for our students as well as financially, and that's why we decided to not replace those 5 positions, which put us, when you go to 2028, you see that's a lot of funds that it did cut down. We have proactively started, when you looking at other things, we've, even back a couple years ago, we started to look at stuff. When we did the first reduction, there's been different things that we were cutting 2 years ago, but we're continuing to keep cutting and looking at stuff as we go, because this is not a surprise. We knew this, and we're trying to think of other ways that we can start cutting.
And we are in much better position than we thought in May that we would be. Again, as Ms. Crawford said, the negative $8 million projected in May. However, I would also like to underline that the forecast nature is a compounding for expenditures. So when, let's say, in May, fiscal year 28 was year 4 in the forecast, because we were in fiscal year 25, then 26, 7, and 8. So $1 million expenditure that we're able to save in fiscal year 25 basically adds up to $2 million in 26, $3 million in 27, $4 million. So it compounds extremely fast. So anything that we have reduced our negatives a lot. So we went from negative about $8 million to $730,000 negative. That's great progress, and it took a lot of team effort and a lot of meetings and a lot of discussion. But we are seeing some results, and that's why I said that I think we will continue to come up with ideas and try to think about as a team all together about how we can balance our budget.
Yeah, I think we also need to put it out to everyone, our community, everyone. We have districts now around us contacting their vendors and telling them about the situation in Ohio. When you look at back at the beginning of your PowerPoint where we're talking about all of the overrides of vetoes, the changes with the opportunities for levies, the stopping of us having the ability, the changes with property tax, everything that's being talked about right now has a negative effect on our school districts, not just us. I mean, it's not good. And some of that deficit is partly because we're not being fully funded. So, the only way that's gonna stop is if we get the voices of as many out there as possible into Columbus to say it's gotta stop. It has to stop. And we can talk about eliminating property tax, but then how will schools be funded? And it's not just schools now. I mean, people need to stop to think and read the fine print because that involves fire departments. What are you going to do when you have somebody having a heart attack at your house and there's no emergency squad coming because they're not funded? So there's a huge problem in what's happening in the legislature in trying to figure out A plus B, and it's not coming out to C. So I think that, again, voices need to be heard. People need to be speaking out. Reforms need to take place, and the governor tried to veto some of those things to help the districts, and they're all being they're potentially being overridden, whatever's Englishly correct tonight. They're coming right back at him and saying no, we're putting it back in, and sometimes with changes that make it even worse. So I just think that the voices need to be heard, and it can't just be 5 board members and superintendent and treasurer that's doing that. We have to have our community members out there speaking out.
Writing in and
writing in, talking about it.
And going to you have to go and advocate. Because it was just, if you check the Ohio School Board Association, OSBA website, they just released information saying that the school boards aren't to blame. It's these lawmakers. Right. So when it comes to these property taxes and everything going up, so they're taking a lot of the funds from the schools, and so this is why we continue to stress this and advocate. So it really takes everyone having that passion.
Exactly, and I'm going to piggyback on what you all are saying, and Leah, what you were saying. We have an excellent community here, and we've always had a great reputation for our schools. And as Leah said, this is not just a Twinsburg thing. This is a statewide thing, and we have a lot of community members who spend a lot of time, energy, and effort bashing the schools and not being sometimes very supportive of the schools, and spending a lot of energy on things like social media, talking, just bashing the schools. I would love to see that energy put into contacting your state representatives, contacting the people at state level, and making a difference. Because if you've got that energy and you've got that drive, put it to good use and get out there and just contact the people who can make a difference, and instead of maybe being apathetic or negative or bashing, because that's not going to get you anywhere. That's not going to advance the schools. And it does take more than your school board members and your school administrators to make a difference. So we need we need you to back us up and back your children up and back our staff up, our schools up, and make your time use or your energy productive, because they do need to hear from parents and residents and community members.
I'm telling you, I was on a meeting last week with a bunch of curriculum directors from the area, and they have started a phone call to vendors, book companies, paper companies, they're starting in districts, because what we project that we're going to lose, there are districts around us that are going to be well into high millions in about 3 years to 4 years. They're already reaching out to them, because some of these companies aren't in Ohio. They don't know what's happening in Ohio. They're just coming straight out telling them, we're supposed to be doing book revisions and book purchases 3 years from now. We're telling you now, we need your voice in Columbus, because we won't have the money to buy them. So, I mean, it's huge. It's not just, Twinsburg's not the problem. The problem is a huge state issue that we're all dealing with. And yeah, voices need to be heard, and they need to be heard loud and clear in Columbus.
Definitely, we are not the only school district that's gonna submit a forecast with negative balances 3 years out. It's gonna be a lot of public schools across the state. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sorry. Very good. All right. H1 through 4. Resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the following meeting minutes, regular board meeting of August 20th, 25 and September 3rd, 2025, as sent to the board under separate cover. 2, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education accepts the following financial reports for the month of August 2025, bank reconciliation, cash summary report by fund, cash summary report by fund and special cost center, disbursement summary report, and investments portfolio review, as sent to the board under separate cover. 3, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves all expenditures for the month of August 2025 as reflected in the above named reports. And 4, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves and adopts the Twinsburg City School District's 5-year forecast and exceptions for school years 2026 through 2030 as prescribed by ORC 5705.391 and 5705.412. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Mrs. Egan,
Second.
second by Mrs. Hamilton. Any discussion? Ms. Rosenauer, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Egan,
Yes.
Mrs. Hamilton,
Yes.
Mrs. Travis,
Yes.
Mrs. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford.
Yes. All right, and that passes 5-0. Action items, personnel, I1 through 4. 1, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education accepts the certified staff recommendations detailed in the attached exhibit as per the dates, terms, and other applicable conditions specified pending satisfactory ORC background checks. 2, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education accepts the classified staff recommendations detailed in the attached exhibit as per the dates, terms, and other applicable conditions specified pending satisfactory ORC background checks. 3, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education accepts the supplement contract recommendations detailed in the attached exhibit as per the dates, terms, and other applicable conditions specified pending satisfactory ORC background checks. And 4, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education accepts the people activity contract recommendations detailed in the attached exhibit as per the dates, terms, and other applicable conditions specified pending satisfactory ORC background checks. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Davis,
Second.
second by Ms. Travis. Any discussion?
Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mrs. Travis,
Yes.
Mrs. Egan,
Yes.
Mrs. Hamilton,
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford.
Yes. I could do that. That passes 5-0. I don't even know my name. Okay. 5, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education accepts the certified staff recommendations detailed in the attached exhibit as per the dates, terms, and other applicable conditions specified pending satisfactory ORC background checks. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Mrs. Hamilton, second by Mrs. Egan. Any discussion?
Yes, quick discussion. I will be abstaining. My husband, Brian Davis, is being recommended for LPDC building rep at RVC, so obviously I will abstain.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Rosen?
Mrs. Hamilton,
Yes.
Mrs. Egan,
Yes.
Mrs. Travis,
Yes.
Mrs. Davis,
Abstain?
Mrs. Crawford.
Yes. And that passes 4-1 with 1 abstention. 6, resolve that the Twinsburg Board of Education accepts the OHSAA tournament workers' recommendations detailed in the attached exhibit as per the dates, terms, and other applicable conditions specified.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Egan,
Yes.
Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mrs. Hamilton,
Yes.
Mrs. Travis,
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford.
Yes, and that passes 5-0. Items J1 through 14.
Yep.
Bear with us. One, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the attached listing of media center items to be deleted from inventory per the attached exhibit. Two, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the amendment to the school health service agreement with Acton Children's Hospital to provide nursing services for the RBC Chamberlain Middle School Washington DC trip, October 7th through October 9th. The additional cost to the current contract is $2,358 and will be paid from funds that are included with the students' costs for the trip as sent to the board under separate cover. 3, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the agreement for contracted services with Express Yourself Speech Therapy LLC for professional development services on Tuesday, November 4th. The cost is $750 and is a general fund expense as sent to the board under separate cover. This is a Title IIA expenditure. 4, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the contract for services for argumentative and alternative communication professional development for staff at Wilcox for 2 days at a cost of $1,600 for consultant fees, travel cost of $200 and a processing and fiscal fee total of $180. Total cost is $1,980 and is a general fund expense set to the board under separate cover. 5, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the contract with LearnWell to provide educational services for a student while being hospitalized. The number of days is not to exceed 40 with an additional 33% administrative costs. Total tuition cost is $2,899 and is a general fund expense sent to the board under separate cover. 6, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the revised salary schedule for central office support staff effective July 1st, 25 per the attached exhibit. 7, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the revised salary schedule for administrative personnel effective August 1st per the attached exhibit. 8, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the salary schedule for psychologists for the 25-26 school year. Pay for each step and level remain the same as last year per the attached exhibit. 9, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the second reading of the revised new and rescinded Board of Education policies as noted below. 10, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the salary increase based on education levels per the attached exhibit. 11, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the affiliation agreement with Capella University to place university students in the Twinsburg City School District for practicums experience. I can't even talk today. As sent to the board under separate cover. 12, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the extended overnight trip proposal for Twinsburg High School boys and girls cross country teams to travel to participate in the cross-country championship meet from the 31st of October through November 1st. It'll be paid by the boosters, athletic boosters. 13, resolved Twinsburg Board of Education approves the extended overnight trip for the high school wrestling team to travel to Michigan to wrestle on the 9th through the 10th, and it's paid by athletic boosters. And 14, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the extended overnight proposal for the high school girls basketball team to travel to Tampa, Florida to compete against other basketball teams across the country from Friday, December 26th to Thursday, January 1st of 26. It's paid by the athletic boosters. Do I have a motion?
I just want to make a note that for those 2 trips for the wrestling and the girls, the athletic boosters, their basketball, their accounts of those kids that were fundraising. So
Yes.
not the actual
yes.
general fund, but it's their basketball account and the wrestling account.
Yeah, thank you.
We also need to, before we vote, number 13 should be 2026.
Yes.
January 9th of 2026 through January 10th of 2026.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll make a
Okay.
motion.
Ms. Travis, second.
Second.
Ms. Davis, any discussion?
Was it Ms. Travis first
Yes.
and Ms. Davis second?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Travis?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Egan?
Yes.
Mrs. Hamilton?
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford?
Abstain. That passes with 4 and 1 abstention. 15, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves the revised new and rescinded Board of Education policies and bylaws as noted in J9 above. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Hamilton,
Second.
second by Ms. Egan. Any discussion? Ms. Rosanna?
Mrs. Hamilton?
Yes.
Mrs. Egan?
Yes.
Mrs. Travis?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford?
Yes, and that passes 5-0. 16, resolved that the Twinsburg Board of Education approves a 2% increase 25-26 school year for employees who are hired by the Educational Service Center of Northeast Ohio and assigned to the Twinsburg City School District. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Mrs. Hamilton,
Second.
second by Mrs. Egan. Any discussion?
Mrs. Hamilton,
Yes.
Mrs. Egan,
Yes.
Mrs. Travis,
Abstain.
Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford.
Abstain. And that passes 3 with 2 abstentions.
I am abstaining only because I also work at the Educational Service Center of Northeast Ohio. I have absolutely nothing to do with any of these employees, but they all work here and do a good job for us. Again, I'm not abstaining for a no vote. I'm abstaining simply because I actually work there, even though I don't work in any of those departments. Thank you.
Any miscellaneous?
I have one. I just want to mention on Monday, we had our first ever all fall athletes dinner, if you will. So we, Mr. Vantone, the athletic director, came to the athletic boosters and said that, let's try to do this something fun for the kids, looking to potentially do it for fall, spring, and winter, and it was a huge success. El Chile Bravo was able to cater for us, and we had over 350 kids that we fed, and the coaches and some volunteers served. And it was funny because all the kids came in and they all sat in their sports. And Mr. Fantone said, okay, here's what's gonna happen, is that you have to go find a table with 3 different sports at each table, because we wanted to, to mingle with the kids. And the first table that does it will be able to get, fed first.
Oh,
Wow, it was mayhem.
Clever.
It's so much fun because they're like, you come sit with us, you come sit with us. We're like, we have 3 sports. And so, Coach Bird was then, making sure all the kids were getting organized. But, it was really great. It was a great community forum. Other kids got to mingle, huge success. We look to plan to do it for winter and spring. So I'm really excited that we were able to do that for the kids. So wanted to share that with everybody.
Great, and I just have 2 quick comments. As Rhonda mentioned earlier, October is Bully Prevention and Awareness Month. So I urge, starting with our parents, to be that example, to model respect even when you don't agree with somebody else's viewpoints. You can respectfully agree to disagree, and we don't want to be examples of bullies and negativity around people in our social media and social circles. So be that example for your children and our community. And I'll mention this as it's been mentioned twice, but tomorrow is a candidates forum for Board of Education. We have 7 people running for 3 open seats, and it will not be televised or filmed. So I really urge you to get there and listen to what the candidates have to say, what they have to share, why they're running, and you can dig deep and do your homework after, but get to know what they're about, and not be complacent and just hear from what your friends have to say on social media, or hear what people who don't even live in a community have to say on social media. Come, show up, and really, listen to what our candidates have to say, because, it's a tough job getting out there and doing this, and I commend each and every one of them for doing so. But come out and see what they're all about tomorrow, and starts at 7:00. But you do want to come early, because if you want questions to submit, you won't be able to do it if you show up, as it's starting. So come on early and come join us.
All right. There is no need to go into executive session, so we will adjourn. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:45? So moved by Mrs. Davis.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hamilton. You can call it.
Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mrs. Hamilton,
Yes.
Mrs. Egan,
Yes.
Mrs. Travis,
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford.
Yes, and that passes